Crimson Tide, a 1995 American submarine action thriller, directed by Tony Scott, produced by Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. It takes place during a period of political turmoil in Russia in which ultra-nationalists threaten to launch nuclear missiles at the United States and Japan. The film focuses on a clash of wills between the seasoned commanding officer of a U.S. nuclear missile submarine, that's Gene Hackman, and his new executive officer, or XO, played by Denzel Washington, arising from conflicting interpretations of an order to launch their missiles. This film also features George Zunda, Viggo Mortensen, James Gandolfini, Matt Craven, Rocky Carroll, Steve Zahn, Rick Schroeder, Vanessa Bell Calloway, as well as showing up at the end of the film, Jason Robards. In Vincent's selection for this stop on the Micheaux Mission, Vincent, what say you of Crimson Tide?
Look. This is cinema. This is actually an example of the type of film that makes you love going to the movies. I think it is robust. I think Tony Scott is amazingly confident in his filmmaking. Everything about this film is firing on all of its cylinders. Hans Zimmer's score, which won an Academy Award, it signals you almost immediately that this is epic filmmaking. The submarine movie is a very old, very well-regarded subgenre of movie. As you said, it takes place on this nuclear submarine. There has been some type of international situation that has unfolded, and this nuclear submarine has to go handle it. I have to say, in linking disparate movies together, it quite honestly made me think of Set It Off. Where, if you remember what we said about Set It Off, is that when Set It Off comes on, a whole bunch of stuff happens, but you can tell that they just want this stuff to happen to get these players in the room together.
Yeah.
I actually chuckled at the info dump that happens over the credits. The credits are not finished rolling before they tell you, look, some stuff happened in Russia. It's some rebels. They took over some stuff. Things are in turmoil. We got to get the sub out there to deal with it. Almost immediately, you cut to an establishing shot of Denzel Washington's character as this XO, but I think appropriately enough, we see him as a family man. Before we see him on the submarine and as an officer. So the film lets you know almost immediately that this is a more well-rounded person than who his rival is going to be. But even that, they get him and Gene Hackman on the screen together damn near immediately. This is not a film like Heat. Where everyone is wondering when are these two titans, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, are going to appear together, or a lot of films where you have the two heavyweights and each of them has to have their separate establishing sequence. Damn it, let's get them in the room. Let's get them in the room together. And then my second chuckle was the plot point that the only reason Denzel Washington's character is even in play is because Gene Hackman's XO had appendicitis. Is something wrong with his appendix? And usually I would save these central performances for the end of my critique. But Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman are everything in this. And what I admired so much about the two of them today is the fact that the push and pull between these two characters, as you mentioned, you've got the old guard represented by Gene Hackman, who is literally a cold warrior. Mm-hmm. Like part of what they say in the script is part of the reason that he is still the captain of one of these nuclear submarines is he is one of the remaining. Remember, this is 1996.
95.
So, 95. So it's a long time ago. But it's also a little removed from a combat situation.
Yeah.
The last time as a country we were in a and they said he's one of the few remaining commanders who has seen combat.
Yeah, yeah.
And Denzel Washington is very much playing the postmodern Sidney Poitier role that is his bread and butter. Mm-hmm. Like he is black excellent writ large. Like he West Point, Harvard.
Yeah.
He's Denzel Washington in 1995. Yeah. So he's like this.
He's got the home life balance.
He's got the home life balance. Like they, like you talk about West Point in Harvard, but perhaps the greatest compliment that this man is given occurs in a car where he's saying goodbye to his family. And you see, he is the perfect father. Mm-hmm. And then he is the perfect husband. Like he really is, again, this is the next evolution of the Sidney Poitier character. This is black excellence. This is the modern man. So you already know that these two are not going to jibe. But again, what impressed me is that it's immediate. Yeah. Like in their first meeting, there is tension. There's a little bit of push and pull. Even though the script is saying, I'm just a commanding officer, I'm interviewing you, so on and so forth. And this is a testament to the whole acting of both of these actors, Denzel Washington. And, obviously they can, I'm sorry, I said West Point, I meant Annapolis. Obviously I said, oh no, that is West Point. They said West Point, didn't they? They said West Point? I think West Point is the Navy. No, the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has what they call, like the table mount, like you see the big ring from. Anyway, not only do they deliver the script expertly, but I love the body language of these two men. Like, I love how they inhabit this space with each other. And this entire film revolves around Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. I thought it was very appropriate that the title card, they have equal billing.
Yep.
And they should, because this really is one of the few films with co-leads that I've seen that one doesn't outshine the other. And this is a testament to Tony Scott's direction. And I have to say, when I think of Tony Scott, I think of him as more of a snappy, almost action guy. But there are aspects of this film, the aforementioned moment where the two of them meet during Denzel Washington's interview. There's a wonderful scene where the command crew has coffee.
Yeah.
There's a scene again with the two of them in Gene Hackman's quarters.
Yeah, in his quarters, yeah.
Where it's almost like a play. Like and that's always been an aspect of a submarine that is done well, because you have these closed quarters.
Yep.
So I cannot really just celebrate these two and their performances. I just cannot, you can't say enough about it. I think this is a really tight script. I think it gets moving. I think it is muscular. I think it is sharp. I think it is boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
As everyone knows who knows, like if you read about this film for more than 5 minutes, you know that an uncredited screenwriter, Quentin Tarantino, came to punch it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know immediately what parts
You
Quentin
can
Tarantino.
tell immediately.
And I do have to say, decades after knowing about Quentin Tarantino now, part of that did kind of make me eye roll. Like there were the Quentin Tarantino parts that kind of took me out of it a little bit, but not enough to get in the way of it. I think the supporting cast, like you said, I love Rocky Carroll in here. I love George Zunda in here. James Gandolfini is really good in here. And Viggo Mortensen, I have to say, as an actor, this might be my favorite Viggo Mortensen performance.
Oh, really?
I really do like him. I know we're supposed to talk about like the history of violence and other things, but I think there's a level of nuance in his work in this film that is great. Tony Scott's direction. I actually wrote in my notes that the film should have been called Triumphant Horns in Dutch Angles.
Yeah.
But I do think a submarine movie, you got to figure out how to have some kineticism. You got to figure out how to have some movement. And I think he does.
He absolutely does.
I think he does. And I think the pacing, the editing, the blocking of shots, like everything about this film, again, just works really, really well. And I think it is a film that is surprisingly thoughtful in the way that it talks about war.
Okay, yes.
In the way that it talks about these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I've always been a big fan of this film. I kind of, when I chose it, I was like, ooh, I hope it holds up. But I love this film.
It's the commentary that you said that it makes on war, I think is interesting because the big bad of this film are the Russians, right? But you never see them.
Right.
You never see them on screen. But I think that you still feel their presence, especially, and this is a note to Hans Zimmer, in that there are little bits of like Russian like sounding melodies in the score, which you're always reminded about who you're going up against or who the big bad is, or supposed to be in this film, because ultimately this is a movie about these opposing wills of these two men, Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. And as I'm watching this film, and it gets name-checked in the movie, and it gets name-checked anytime people start talking about submarine movies, I'm thinking about this great movie, which I just happened to rewatch probably 2 weeks ago, Run Silent, Run Deep. 50s film, pretty much submarine film, action film. Pretty much, it's not the same story, but it's similar story.
Yeah.
Old captain in that film, played by Clark Gable, nearing still the man, but nearing the end of his career, nearing the end of his life.
Well, he can play an old captain.
Yeah. His young XO, played by a young Burt Lancaster in that film. Two men who have decidedly different acting styles, come from different sides of that acting coin, but filling up that screen and going mano a mano. And Burt Lancaster is on his way to becoming the Burt Lancaster that it was Hollywood's biggest star.
Yeah.
Right? that's the same place Denzel Washington is in 1995.
Absolutely.
He's done Malcolm X. So he's proven that he is the man.
Right. And can carry a big film.
And can carry a big film. But he's still kind of making his way. And because Malcolm X is also a Spike Lee film, it's a black film.
And there's that.
It's like, all right, yeah, but can you, Hollywood is like, yeah, but can you carry our films?
Right.
I
agree.
So while him and Gene Hackman are co-leads in this, Gene Hackman, as big of a star as he was always kind of like that big star character actor.
Right.
Never like the super leading man. And even in this film, Gene Hackman is already 65 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So Denzel is definitely still kind of like 1A in this film. But the hedge your bets is having Gene Hackman.
Right.
But and Denzel will tell you, and he says it in all his interviews, like, yo, I wanted to go up against Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that this was going to be, I was going to have to bring it. He was going to bring it out of me, and it was everything that he wanted. So laying the film on those shoulders is smart for Tony Scott, knowing that this story that really asks some hard questions, like you said, about, the nature of war, the reasoning for war, and especially what does war look like when it's not just shooting guns. It's just, if I shoot this missile, it's a wrap.
Right.
It's over. It's game over. It's not the war is done. It's like we are done. So that carries with it a whole other different weight. And this movie tries to ask those questions. But it recognizes what the mission is. It is the thrill. It is suspense. And in doing so, there's not a lot of action in this movie.
No.
But it is still rightfully billed as an action film.
Yeah.
Because it is tense. Because of the Dutch angles that he is throwing in there, because of the liberal use of this set, that it at times you feel the confines of a submarine. At times it feels maybe a little expanded, so we can really play out the drama. But you still, either way, you feel the tension, the claustrophobia is there. And I think having these amazing actors around him, like Viggo Mortensen, James Gandolfini, who, when you really look back on his filmography, is never not good.
No.
In even the smallest role.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's never not good. George Zunda, at that point, probably more famously known for the couple of seasons of Law and Order, but always just a happy person to see up there on the screen. I actually took note. I remembered kind of like Steve Zahn showing up in there. He doesn't have like a huge role,
right?
But he shows up. But reading through the cast and reading that Rick Schroeder was in this movie,
yeah,
I was like, Rick Schroeder's in the movie,
right.
But then when I noticed when he shows up, I'm like, look at Rick Schroeder doing some work.
Look at Rick Schroeder.
He was actually doing work for the small role that he had.
Oh yeah,
he does work.
It's a great scene,
and it's a great scene.
It's a great scene.
So this film is held. It's held up by that, and ultimately it really fulfills the mission of thrilling you, of asking some hard questions, not trying to force feed you any answers.
Yeah.
I do think there's a part of me, this tells you how you're getting wrapped up in the story. I do think Gene Hackman's character gets off easy in this film. I mean, quiet as, spoilers for like a damn near 50-year-old film, 30-year-old film. They think they're going to have to go to war with Russia. They don't. But in the thinking of it, Gene Hackman's character threatens two men with a gun to their head.
Look, things have broken down. Look, you know how these mutiny films work.
Well, that's it.
Once there's a mutiny,
Yeah.
all the rules are off the table.
Yeah, but still.
That's why chain of command
It's very important.
is so it's the most important thing.
That's very true. That is
So
very
you
true.
know,
That's very true. It's interesting, you know, I forgot about, you know, the whole idea of this being a mutiny, you know, and that kind of like runs true with Run Solid, Run Deep, but it's not as much of a mutiny in that one. But because of the mutiny aspect of it, and because it was mutiny on a nuclear submarine, the Navy wouldn't give them. They were like, we don't want nothing to do with this film.
right?
Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They were like, no, we don't. No, we can't get down with that. We can't get down with that storyline. And you don't miss them. It's a big deal. So you don't have a thing up at the end saying thanks to the Navy.
Right.
We don't care.
Right. Right.
We absolutely don't even care. You know, you were talking about the information dump at the beginning. It definitely is an information dump, but I think it's actually one of the more well done information dumps, because it was, you know, because sometimes those dumps are so chaotic. With
Right.
cuts between like anchors reading bits of a story, and then you've got, you know, fake filmography, and, you know, then you've got, you know, chyrons going across the screen and everything like that. But this one really set you up. And I felt like at the end of it, I remember I noted it, it's like, well, now I know everything that's going on. I actually felt like all right, I'm ready. All right, the story can now begin.
Again, we just gonna tell you what the setup is,
Yep.
so we can get to the good stuff.
Scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yo, so yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it. Seeing Denzel, we joked recently off camera, the show beyond the show,
She'll be on the show.
about Denzel Washington, and seemingly like, you know, maybe starting to show his age a little bit lately, right? But seeing young Denzel, seeing boxing Denzel,
Yeah.
seeing running Denzel in this movie, I'm like, Denzel was a beast. He was a beast in his day, man.
Did I tell you my soldier story?
Probably.
With my
Go ahead.
class. So I teach a class that I show a soldier story, and as we all know, this is Denzel very early, Denzel Washington. So I was showing soldier story, and if you remember, there's a part in soldier story where there's been a you know, it's about soldiers, and there's been a brouhaha in the middle of the night, and the character that Denzel Washington plays is going to go
AWOL.
well, before that, when TJ gets framed, and then Peterson gets up and he's going to go and tell the commander that he has, you know he was in bed. This, that.
Oh,
and
that's
other.
right. Yeah.
And he gets out of bed, and he has on like just a undershirt. So I'm showing soldier story to this class of 18, 19-year-olds. Lynn, hand to God. Such a ruckus broke out. Oh my God, is that Denzel Washington? Did you see? Oh my God, this is Denzel. Oh my, Lynn, I stopped the movie. I turned the lights on. I said, yes, that is Denzel Washington. That is what Denzel Washington looked like in the 80s. Your mother and your grandmothers are not crazy people. I know y'all only know him from The Equalizer. This is what Denzel Washington used to look like. Can y'all go ahead, get it out? Y'all get it out. Oh, Denzel. Yeah, All right, yeah, everybody finish? I'm going to turn the lights out, turn the movie back on now, okay? Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Denzel, dog, he's a movie star. Like, we don't make movie stars anymore.
We don't.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, but go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
I was there. I was pretty much at the end of my soliloquy.
To your point, though, like you said, obviously Run Silent, Run Deep in this sort of generational baton passing. What it made me think about, frankly, was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Okay.
And the aspect of it that it's subtext, but the subtext is barely sub, with Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn representing this old guard, and sort of it's like a coronation, and they're handing it to Sidney Poitier, like this is the future, this is tomorrow. And to your point, I guess you can talk about Gene Hackman as a character actor, but what I always think about Gene Hackman is he was like the actor's actor.
True.
Like between kind of the 1-2 punch of the French Connection and The Conversation, and then just various other Gene Hackman was always like, again, like the actor that other actors look to.
Yeah, yeah.
And for Gene Hackman to put on, really a clinic, like this is like we're saying he's the older actor, but this, speaking of another Gene Hackman movie, this is not Marlon Brando in Superman. Like this isn't an old dude that they just brought in. Like this is an old lion. Like he's still a lion. And as you like, they really do go head to head. And as you said, obviously Denzel Washington had been making movies for a period at this point, but I feel like this is the moment where a lot of us said, oh, he can actually act. Like this is an actor, because he's gone head to head with the actor's actor. And again, I think the relationship between these two actors in here, like there's a level of respect, but there's also a level of generosity, and then there's a level of, but you're gonna have to keep up with me. And he rises to the task, and it's it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, we should probably talk about Quentin Tarantino in his contributions to the script.
We should.
How'd you do?
Well, Quentin Tarantino. So if you don't know, his contributions uncredited to the script are primarily a lot of the pop cultural references, the references to
Star Trek,
the references to the Silver Surfer,
which we gotta talk about that. Go ahead.
Those references, they stood out when you hear them. Like they stood out in 1995.
Yes,
to me.
Yeah, they did.
They feel like they come out of nowhere. And they
you forgot the executive officers in this whole bit where they're talking about submarine movies to each other.
See, yeah, that part with James Gandolfini and Viggo Mortensen. I guess that part, and I know Tarantino is responsible for that. That part, for whatever reason, didn't bother me.
Okay.
And I think it's because it's name checking another submarine movie.
Okay.
Movies sometimes do that.
So you get at a pass. So these officers on
these submarine officers
on the USS Alabama. Like this ain't some podunk boat.
Right. But them talking about a submarine movie,
you get at a pass.
I give that a pass.
All right, but okay,
because that's something maybe they do, especially considering the situation that they're in.
Sure.
The situation that they were in was that Denzel Washington was going to be this new younger XO coming onto their boat. It's similar to the storyline in Run Silent, Run Deep.
Okay.
So I could see, because we come into that conversation in the middle of the conversation.
Okay.
So I could see them kind of like, and it is right after that whole thing, introduction comes down.
Okay.
So it makes sense kind of story-wise, and quiet as kept, I think James Gandolfini sells it
Okay.
in that.
Okay.
It sells it. Conversely, with all due respect to Denzel Washington,
All due respect.
Denzel Washington does not sound like someone who knows anything about comic books when he starts talking about the Silver Surfer.
Much less someone who has, first of all, there's an argument that breaks out about a character called the Silver Surfer, in which artist. So Jack Kirby created the Silver Surfer.
Yes.
And whether Jack Kirby, but then there's a French artist named Mobius who used Silver Surfer as a Christ metaphor.
Yes.
And it's almost like an Italian Renaissance type rendering of Silver Surfer. And the plot point is that these two crewmen
Got into
on the submarine in 1996, 95, got into an argument about the depiction of a side character.
They got into a fight, not an argument.
And the artist who rendered him in the 60s, as opposed to the artists that rendered, so Mobius Silver Surfer is what, late 70s?
No, it's actually like 80s.
80s? Or in the 80s. And then they get into a fist fight. And then this shining exemplar of black perfection, who his entire life has been crafted around being this exemplar, Denzel Washington also has an opinion on the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Or so weird meant to believe.
And not for nothing, to add insult to injury.
Oh, boy.
Because at one point, Denzel Washington's character says, anyone who reads comic books knows that Jack Kirby, both of them are wrong.
That is true.
Clearly.
That is very true.
The John Buscema Silver Surfer.
Yes.
Is the best Silver Surfer.
That is the Silver Surfer.
Like, if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. You're right, Vincent. You're right.
You know, that has bothered me since 1995.
I'm quite certain. It has. So you don't give Quentin Tarantino a pass for that at all.
Then he's doing the Star Trek bit.
Yeah, the Star Trek bit at the end.
Like, what is?
And the reason why the Star Trek bit, I mean, both of and this is why I don't give these two references the pass, the Silver Surfer and the Star Trek bit, because none of them they come out of nowhere. They don't match the tone of the dialogue at any part in the rest of the film. And that's why I don't give them a pass. That's why they hurt on the ear. They hurt so hard on the ear. And all due respect to Denzel Washington, I don't believe Denzel Washington has read a comic book since maybe he was 10.
Here's the thing.
And I don't think he ever watched Star Trek.
Here's the thing. I don't know about Denzel Washington. I don't know Denzel Washington. But this character that Denzel Washington is playing?
Definitely.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not.
And it's so unnecessary. And you can tell, some dumbass executive watched a cut of this and said, we need to punch it up. It needs to be a joke in here.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a focus group that says they like jokes.
And let Quentin do it. He's the hot guy.
Right, he's the hot guy.
Yeah.
Because, boy, this is a quite manly movie.
Oh.
This is a manly, serious movie.
Indeed. Yes.
It's cigars and men in each other's faces, and it's very triumphant.
It is.
It is.
It's very triumphant. It's a lot of propaganda. It's a lot of propaganda.
I was about to say it, but see, I 100% disagree with you.
Really?
Like, I think I think they say it. War is the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't Top Gun.
Yeah, see, but you're saying that war. It says war is the enemy, but this is where my my problem is with Gene Hackman's character getting off a little easy. I hear you. Once the mutiny starts, all bets are off. But quiet is kept, just like they said. The mutiny was not so much a mutiny; it was him doing everything by the books.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he followed letter of the law. There is no letter of the law, even after a mutiny, where a captain should get away with putting a gun to not one, but two people's heads.
You're correct. But I'm going to disagree with the point that you made a moment ago. I don't think he gets off easily.
Because he got the mandatory retirement?
Because he had to retire. He had to retire. And the film makes clear from the very beginning, this is all he has.
Yeah, but he retired with his pension.
And that dumb dog.
He's going to be on some board somewhere. He's going to be good.
I don't think so. I think this dude is dead within 3 years. He's got nothing.
No, he's got his dog.
He's got his dog.
His
also, I don't even think this is anecdote and apocrypha at this point. I think all the players agree. I think the other thing Quentin Tarantino added was the sort of overtly racial overtones, like that whole bit with the horses. Like everything that I've read says that that's also part of what Quentin Tarantino added, which infamously led to conflict between Quentin Tarantino and Denzel Washington.
Well, I thought the conflict between those two was because Denzel got in his face about how liberally he used the N-word in all his films.
I've always heard that, but what I read today is that this was about the script and all this bit about the horses and white horses and black horses.
Okay.
Which I kind of see. I mean, first of all, in 96.
95. Why do you want to keep putting this a year later?
Is Reservoir Dogs out?
I believe so, yeah.
So Reservoir Dogs is out. Yeah, okay. So I guess he's already making movies.
Yeah, I think Reservoir Dog and I think Pulp Fiction maybe.
Yeah, okay. But I didn't like the bit with the horses. I didn't like the implication. I didn't like textual. Maybe it's some race stuff going on with Gene Hackman's character. Like this whole bit about the horses that are white are the most advanced and the most easily trained horses, and then Denzel has to say, well, they're born black, and like I didn't. I thought that flattened the characters more than it should have. Like I think obviously race is running through this thing, and again, much like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, I do think there's a sentiment. Like whenever you have an older white guy and a younger black guy, I think that does tap into this fear that you have with some people that the future is going to be more heterogeneous.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and maybe there's no place for me. Like I think just the two of them, who they are, was enough.
Okay.
With all this horse business.
I hear you. I hear you.
So,
I hear you.
that to me that wasn't as egregious as all the Star Trek and the comic book stuff, but
no, it's no problem.
Yeah.
And just to close the loop on it, whatever sparked the animosity between the two of them, and from what I read, Denzel not only owns up to getting in Tarantino's face.
Yeah, he apologizes.
But he then later, years later, apologized for it, and actually his daughter.
His daughter's in Django Unchained.
When be on Django Unchained. So, so they, even though I saw another interview, Denzel was like, but he still ain't put me in one of his movies.
Right.
And I did that. I think it's also, it should be pointed out that you talked about how Tony Scott kind of like has his favorites. this is his first production with Denzel Washington.
Right.
And they would go on to do a number of films.
Yes, absolutely.
They would do Deja Vu. They would do Man on Fire, Unstoppable. They did
The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. So they did a number of films together, and proved to be like a really good, strong team. I think they actually had one or two projects that they were even looking at returning to before Tony Scott unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
You know, so good film. So where do you stand, Vincent? Would you recommend Crimson Tide?
You know, I was thinking, obviously, I'm recommending it. But it was what I was really thinking is oftentimes we'll say that there are some films that are mandatory viewing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about sort of the mandatory Denzel Washington filmography.
Oh,
like the Denzel, like
the Mount Rushmore of Denzel Washington.
Right,
films?
right. Not even Mount Rushmore. Like again, I like to think of it in terms of a syllabus. Like if I'm teaching Denzel Washington in movies.
Okay,
what films would be on there? And it's like the heavy hitters, or it's like Fences, Malcolm X. I mean, hell, Training Day. You won an Oscar for Training Day, and I was wondering, would I put this on there? And I might, depending on how many films I can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
This is certainly in my top 10 favorite Denzel performances. And I don't know if it's in my top 5. Like, I just don't know. Like I didn't think about it that much.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I thought about it on the way to the studio. So I didn't look at his IMDb. But I would 100% recommend this for Denzel Washington. And frankly, I feel like this is one of the few lead roles that you get from Gene Hackman. As you mentioned, he's really a character actor. He's an actor's actor, and I told you my 1-2, Gene Hack. Well, I guess 1, 2, 3. Like obviously the French Connection.
Mm-hmm.
I know I like The Conversation more than you do,
but I like it.
Yeah, and I love The Conversation, and I mean, hell, I want to say Unforgiven, but he's not a lead.
No,
he's not the lead.
No.
So besides The Conversation and the French Connection, what is he really the lead in? Like, what is it? Gene Hackman is first, and then everybody else.
I'm trying to think. Because every movie that I'm coming up with in my head, he ain't the lead.
He ain't the lead.
He's not even the lead in Runaway Jury.
No,
because that's John Cusack.
Yeah.
Even though he definitely is the best part of that movie.
But to this point, John Cusack is more of the lead in that than Denzel Washington is in this. Like, this really is a two-hand. Like, it really is the two of them.
Which is where Gene Hackman kind of lives in some of his films. Because there's a film like Scarecrow, but that's him and Al Pacino. And then there is he's definitely like the fourth lead in Bonnie and Clyde.
I mean, just looking at the screen, George Kimono, of course, mentioned Superman, and he gets top billing. But he gets top billing because he's working with, at that point, a group of unknowns, basically.
Yeah, and I don't think he gets top billing. I thought Marlon Brando got top billing.
Oh, well, right, but
so he gets it over Christopher Reeve,
right?
Though.
But obviously, Superman. I mean,
obviously,
it's right there in the title.
Yeah, right. He's not really
like he steals it from Christopher Reeves,
right?
But yeah, he's not. That's not his movie.
Yeah, I can't think of not off the top of my head. One where he is the lead. Like that is the Gene Hackman movie.
Right. So Right. Even Enemy of the State. That's
You know,
Will Smith's
That's Will
movie.
Smith. That's Will Smith. I thought about that as too. Like I said, it's a two-hander with him. Gene Hackman. I'm looking at Scarecrow. The Poseidon Adventure is an ensemble.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Early in his career, his ensemble. Hoosiers. He's the lead in Hoosiers.
Hoosiers. Okay.
He's the lead in Hoosiers.
All right. He is. That's a good one.
And that might be it.
Good movie, too.
That might be it, man.
So, it's not really the Micheaux Mission's mission to recommend something based on Gene Hackman. But my God, if you like movies, you got to know Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know Gene Hackman. And
he's the lead in Mississippi Burning, too, even though that's kind of a two-hander,
I was about to say, is he?
But he gets top billing.
I think he's more of a lead in this than in Mississippi Burning.
Well, I mean, Mississippi Burning is basically it's him and Willem Dafoe. They're kind of like equal.
Yeah.
But he definitely gets top billing though. But that's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, which is not to knock the man at all.
Oh.
His filmography is redunculous
and makes everything better.
Oh.
Like Gene Hackman never shows up and you're like, ooh, who's this stinking up the joint?
The Birdcage is undeniably one of the funniest movies.
Yes.
In the last 50 years. But as funny as it is, it gets kicked up a notch
when he shows up.
Yeah. In that film. Oh my God.
So yeah, I would 100% recommend Crimson Tide. And if you've not watched it lately, which I think many people have, I think Crimson Tide is one of these films that we don't talk about as much as we should.
Mm.
Absolutely. And yourself?
I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it. It's a tight political thriller. It is. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Solid, strong actors, just strong performances, just going at it. There is no wasted dialogue, no wasted performance. It's good.
And it's worth noting, it's over 2 hours, and we're saying that.
But it's a quick,
dude.
It's a quick 2 hours.
Dude, I kept looking up. I was like, oh my God, when did an hour pass?
I know.
And then it was like, wait, is it only 20 minutes left?
I know.
So,